Lesson number 58 for Thursday, the 9th of April. Some refresher things at the top. Do you know them before we write them in? You have something to a power times the same base to a power. That's where we add exponents. Power raised to a power is where we multiply exponents, so it's m times n. And for reducing a fraction, or you could say for dividing, it's this divided by that. The numerator gets divided by the denominator. It's x to the m, take away m, the exponent of the top minus the exponent of the bottom. Or, equivalently, you could have 1 over x to the this exponent minus the other. Which one do you use? You use the one that's going to result in a positive exponent. So if the top number is bigger, if the top exponent is bigger than the bottom exponent, you're going to use this one. If the bottom exponent is the larger, you're going to use this one. And that's rerun material. We're going to be using it today. Now, to reduce this fraction, and we've done stuff like this the past day or so. For the coefficients, it's the same old story going back years. What do you find that goes into 15 and also goes into 25? 5 does. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. And for the variables, one variable at a time. First, I'll look at the w's. Wherever there's more of them, that's where you'll have some left over after you're done invisibly canceling by subtracting the exponents. So 10 take away 3. There's what happens with the w. For the x's, there's more factors of x on the top. 5 take away 2. And for the h, 9 take away 4. That takes care of that. And going over here, there's a little more confusing, but we can use the same ideas. We can divide both these numbers by 9. 27 divided by 9 is 3. 45 divided by 9 is 5. What's the bigger number, -2 or -7? -2 is bigger than -7 because -2, it's negative, but it's not as far below 0 as -7, right? So I mean, think of it as a temperature. -2 is not as cold as -7. So the w stays on the top, and the new exponent will be -2 take away -7, which gives you a 5. -2 take away -7 becomes add the opposite, and that gives you a 5. Okay. For the x's, 11 is larger than -2. 11 take away -2 becomes add 2, so we get 13. And what's the deal with the h's? It's the same exact power top and bottom, so you could say we get h to the 0, which equals 1, or you could just cancel them. Okay, so here's our final answer. That 5 really ought to be over in the middle. It looks like it's going to tip over, but that's the correct answer. It just looks a little silly. Now, here's what's new for today. Start with a numerical example. We could, of course, just say 10 plus 16, 10 plus 6 is 16, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. So this is worth 8. Let's get that out on the table. Couldn't I also do this? Couldn't I split this into 10 over 2 plus 6 over 2? If we were adding these, we would say, yeah, it's okay to add them because we have the common denominator of 2, and we would say 10 plus 6 over 2, and of course we change it to 16, but that goes backwards and forwards. So if I split this up like so, now I've got 10 over 2, which is 5, 6 over 2, which is 3, 5 plus 3, still we get the answer 8. Now, this is just to demonstrate that what we're going to do down here is okay to do, perfectly legal. there's no like terms here. I can't say 3x plus 12 equals something and then divide that by 3. But I can reduce this. I can make this a simpler expression if I split it up like I did the one above it. Can rewrite it like that. Huh? See where we're going now? 3x divided by 3, that's just x. You know, you can just cancel the 3's. And 12 over 3 is 4. This simplifies into just plain old x plus 4. Move over here. We split this up into two fractions. We'd have 10x squared over 2x plus 12x over 2x. Now we reduce each one independently. The 10 over 2, that reduces to a 5, you know, or you could say divide the top and bottom by 2. But you get 5, and x squared divided by x is just x. Because remember, you would subtract here, and you'd have nothing left on the bottom, so there's no need for a fraction anymore. There's no need for a fraction anymore here either, is there? 12 divided by 2 is 6, and the x's cancel. So this is our response to, what does that simplify to? Okay, let's move down here. I'm going to rewrite this as x to the 7th over x to the 3rd plus x to the 5th over x to the 3rd minus 3x to the 4th over x to the 3rd. Sorry, went off the screen there a little. Split this up into three fractions. What does this first one reduce to? X to the 4th plus x to the 2nd. I'm just subtracting the exponents. Minus 3x to the 1st. Or just plain old 3x. And last thing on page 1. You zoom out just a little. W to the 7th over w squared minus w to the 5th over w squared plus w squared over w squared. Some of you might be noticing some mental tricks you could do to shortcut things so you don't have to do all this writing. And that's okay. I'm not going to go into that right now. But if you want to be safe and careful, write it out. 3 separate fractions, reduce each fraction. 7 minus 2, and then this is 5 minus 2, and 2 we get w to the 0, but w to the 0 power equals what? What does that equal? 1. So we make it as simple as possible. We make a 1 instead of 0 power. Okay. That concludes page 1. See you on page 2.